That was Phil Wickham with This Is Amazing. Well, we've been talking about dads, and tomorrow we'll do that as well. Now, I just want to remind you, I came across a quote that simply says, "The father is the anchor in which the family stands." Now, the problem that we're having today is that many dads, whether they like to admit it or not, they are actually abdicating their responsibility. Now, that can happen simply because of the fact that, one day they say, well, I don't want to be in a relationship. So immediately they leave the relationship or they get involved in work or something else that takes them away from their family. Many men have over the years said to me, well, I got to provide for my family. That's right, you do. But you also need to find a balance between the two. Now, something did happen during the COVID-19, and that was many fathers ended up staying home. And then all of a sudden, they had to reshift their relationship with their kids. Some were successful, maybe others weren't as successful as they would like to be. So now that we find ourselves on the other side, of course, you got to find the balance. And you also need to recognize that as a father, you have the responsibility of leaving something powerful for your children and for your spouse to remember. It's called a legacy. So the question is, what kind of legacy do you want to leave for your children? Well, if you are a Christian and a believer, the first thing that you want to leave with them is a legacy of Jesus Christ. Having a relationship with Jesus Christ. In fact, that's the biggest and best legacy that you can actually leave. When I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I came from a broken home. Now, when I'm talking about a broken home, my mom had actually been married 4 times, okay? And so the one thing that I wanted to do was when I got into a relationship with a lady, and that was the fact that I would find the right one. Of course, God took care of that because my wife was walking into the Bible college class where I was sitting, and the Lord said, "That's the man that you're going to marry." She said, "Him?" Well, as it turned out, we did get married back in 1979, and we've been together ever since. We have, of course, children and grandchildren together. God put that together. But in our early stages of our relationship, we knew how important it was that we would pass on to our children the relationship that we had with Jesus Christ. And it was early when I remember holding my son Robert when he was born. And I looked at him and I said, "Robert, I'm going to pray for you every single day." And I have not failed to do that since that day. And every time I hold, like when our latest grandson came into the world, whose name was Lewis, I remember standing there and holding him in my hands and immediately began to pray for him. Number one, because he lives on a farm. And number two, he's kind of like my son, and my son always lived on the edge. That was Ryan. And so I pray for my children and grandchildren every day. And if we can bring that legacy into that situation and also bring a consistent lifestyle in Jesus Christ, we have done very well. Have I done it all well? No. But like I said before, children are very forgiving. So that's why it's so important that we choose to be an anchor. And we make that choice, dads. That's the choice that we make. And I encourage you to do that today. Make that choice. Don't abdicate your responsibility. Because remember, if you don't become the anchor, someone else will be very happy to do it with your children or even with your spouse. So remember that today.